Oh, it's hot. It's hot in southern India on a Sunday. Hey, Instagram, it's me, T from the Pattersons, taking the train to bed. It's hot on a Sunday night in southern India. And speaking of Sunday night, you know what this is? Because Sunday nights, when we read to you, we read and we riff. Well, you know, we read, we read to you, and or because we're in southern India, or we're in Tamil Nadu state of India, then close to Pondicherry, then we read from we read some Tagore. So we've been reading every Sunday. We read some Tagore. Or I better put my glasses on. Might be helpful. And read this one here is a 10. Hey, it's 10 on page 10. Yeah. Sure. You can stand it. Here we go. Here is thy footstool, and there rest thy feet, where live the poorest and lowest and lost. When I try to bow to thee, my abstinence cannot reach down to the depth where thy feet rest among the poorest, the lowest, the lost. Pride can never approach to where thou walkest in the clothes of the humble among the poorest, the lowest, and the lost. I'll read that one again. Pride can never approach to where thou walkest in the cloth of the humble among the poorest, the lowest, and lost. I think I read that wrong. Let me read it again. Pride can never approach to where thou walkest in the clothes of the humble among the poorest, the lowest, and lost. My heart can never find its way to where thou keepest company with the companionless among the poorest, the lowest, and the lost. That's Tagore. Ooh. By the way, we operate because we came of let's say media age through WBAI. We had this thing being community radio, big being WBAI in New York, where we often told you what was going to happen, what we're going to do, what we're going to present. We presented it, but we never interpreted for you. We never told you what we presented. That's sort of how I go by, because I came of media savvy or whatever it is through Pacifica Radio, WBI in New York. So, we might tell you what you're going to get. We give it to you, but we never tell you what you got. You got to interpret it for yourself. And this is a Sunday, like it's a reading day, and I wanted to, I got to talk about this. I'm going to tell you something. When Trump was first, the first, 8 years ago, whatever it was, rather not 8 years, 4 years ago, because Biden only came here. So 4 years ago, well, 8 years, I guess, technically, whatever is long. I've been in South Africa. I've been in South Africa since 2002. I mean, I'm in India right now, but I'm traveling through, going to the States, and then I'll be back to South Africa, my base. And it was interesting because when Trump first got elected, everybody said, "Oh yeah, blah, 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 blah." And I pointed out to them, you do realize that at the time was what's his name, Zuma. I said, Zuma is the original Trump. All of his shenanigans, same as the Trump shenanigans. And people, if you thought about it for a second, all this stuff is whatever. But here's the interesting thing. Right now, Trump 2, whatever, it's interesting. He came in, what did he do? He signed a lot of stuff. He was action-packed, signed a lot of stuff. Remember, he has to do the bidding of his people. His people. The states, it's like stratified. There's different things. Like somebody asked me about black people in the states. Well, black people, they like Trump. I said, black people, melanated people, there's gradations of melanation, and there's gradations of black folks the way they think. You got the boule, you got the academics, you got the criminal elements. Sorry to bring that up. We have the hard-working people. We get then if you go to announced, you get this announced, you get the liberals and all kinds of stratification. It's not unified. And it's never going to be unified because we all come from different whatever. I mean, some of us, for instance, I came of age in the 60s. They said, oh, you're civil rights era. No. I'm not the silver rights kind of person. I ain't no doggies. No. While the civil rights was happening, also was happening was what we call the Black Power movement, specifically the Black Arts movement. With the Black Power movement, I'm on that strike. We was listening to Malcolm and James Baldwin and Lorraine Hansberry while they were listening to, who they were listening to, right? So we can never. Let me put this right now. Right now, we're in a state of Chimurenga. Chimurenga is like revolutionary struggle or the struggle within. So there's a lot of struggle within. What kills me, not kills me, but what I find amusing is that all these people go there, black people this, they like speaking for black people that, black people this, black people that. I was like, oh boy, it's like, what was that, Anatomy of a Murder, the Quincy Jones did the soundtrack, whatever have you, whatever. You see the graphic was this body that was disassembled, but you could still tell it was a body laying down like a. That's what it's like right now. But interestingly enough, Trump signed all these things right away. He's hit front running. Well, he's the commander. He's the commander in chief of the USA. The commander in chief of Africa. I call it Africa. It's my country. My commander in chief currently is Commander Ibrahim. And he started doing stuff too, doing stuff all the time. The only difference is that his stuff is like, getting a tomato factory, doing this, the whole Sahel kind of situation. Cars are coming out, military, the Air Force. He's doing stuff for peoples. The peoples that, how'd it go? He's doing stuff for the peoples. The peoples that, the poorest, the lowest, the lost. That's who he works for. Whereas, other people, not only just Trump, all these other people, Afro-Peans, Negro-Peans, they say the people, but they do stuff for their interests. So if your interest is, whatever you say your interest is, right, then, I got to make sure that my peoples get their share of the pie. And the pie is only was so big. So if they get, if you slicing up the pie, and then say the poorest, let's come back again. Say the what's the thing? Say the poorest, the lowest, the lost, right, has that piece of the pie, and then the rest of you folks have that piece of pie, and other people want this piece of the pie. Then hey, I'm trying to say Commander Ibrahim, though he has the people that have that piece of pie, he's making sure that they get more piece of that pie. You see what I'm saying? I know you see what I'm saying. So that's the big difference. If you spend your time counter-revolutionarying against the Donald and what he wants for his people, his piece of the pie, then by definition, you've taken your time and your energy and putting it to the use of responding to, tying up, being confused by, as Mr. Neely Fuller would say, being confused by, the Donald and his ilk. Now, don't get me wrong, there's something that's very interesting. Like, okay, that's what I say because it's funny. He fired a bunch of FBI kinds of people, right? I don't know if any black people are going to get upset because what the FBI did, or does, to black folks. But it's interesting because what people don't realize, remember when Donald first came on the scene, or when he surrounded himself by ex-FBI agents, FBI people. Do you think he was talking to them? So when he's firing these people, he's firing the new people, but he's bringing in some old heads, some people that know what the purpose is. So even if you think that he's whatever, you got to look at what he's doing. Now, what they do, how they do, that's a whole other thing, you know. You see, Commander Ibrahim, look what he did. Now the people that plot his assassination, whatever it is, they put in jail, he freed them. He ain't afraid. He a warrior. He a warrior. That's why he's my commander in chief. But I mean, I can keep on going like this, you know. But just be certain that if who are you going to spend your time with? You're going to spend your time with the revolution, right? Or with the counter-revolution, countering what the Donald could put in your way, which means that you'll be drowned in his soup, you know, fighting his windmills or whatever, fighting his against his thing, which is like you'll be hamster wheeling. You're hamster wheeling with the powers that be, of course that's what it is. With Commander Ibrahim, it's a progression, it's an evolution, going from nothing and then spiraling and making sure everybody's on board. And the interesting thing is that if you really listen to him, he's saying like the young people want this, the young people, and he's young, so he's speaking for his people. These other Afro-Europeans that's been in place for a long time, you don't hear them say, well, the youth, they say the youth, they're trying to, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to pull the wool over your eyes, or the linen, or the cotton over your eyes, the silk over your eyes. You see? So I'm just saying, pay attention. But things are interesting because, I'll say one more thing. The Donald is very interesting because a lot of the stuff he says, some people, you know, that what's his sworn enemies or whatever, say, hey, wait a second, right? I don't want my child to be mutilated or to be, no. Yeah, there's only two genders. They're going down the list. You want to argue with that? Hey, that's right. Hey, this is going to be good. This is going to be funny. Well, funny. It's going to be entertaining. There's this thing that's going on with, it's called the Kamala, whatever. They call it the Kamala effect or something like that. When there's, yeah, you know, if you're born in the United States, then you're eligible for a bunch of things. You just have to land your plane. And I want to say this. When Donald's first term, when he was talking about talking about the immigrants or whatever have you, you know, you missed it. What he said, he did a line in there talking about like the Chinese who come and fly over, have a baby, then fly back. I guess y'all missed that because they're too busy with the Mexicans and So I pay attention. I read between the lines. I get all these little nuggets and I remember them. Right? So the Donald always, here's the way the Donald works. Just like spies, just like the CIA. There's a truth someplace, and he surrounds his truth by myth and trolling and whatever have you. So you're busy caught up in his trolling and you missed his central point. You missed his central point. The Donald is smarter than you are, don't you understand? Especially you Negropeans and you reactionaries and you counter-revolutionaries or whatever you all think you all are. I shouldn't be going against them because then they're going to get mad at me. Because you know what, let me tell you something. Black people don't want to be wrong or wronged. White people want to be right and not righted. I'll leave you with that. Take care. See you later. Be well.